Hello gorgeous souls, it's been a while, it really has been a while since I've been live in this group, but I have been feeling called to pop back in, to reconnect, to regroup the group and to check in with you all, see how you're doing in these kind of turbulent times. And I myself have been on such a deeper dive in my own alcohol and sugar freedom world. Really, it's this whole soul freedom thing, isn't it? And last year was just this deeper dive, and I, to be honest, just feel like a completely different person when I look back over the years from when I started my alcohol freedom journey back in 2016. I never would have thought that I am where I am now. And I just really want to come in here today to really bring us all back together again, because yeah, a lot's changed and it's easy to drift, isn't it? We're living in this busy, distracted world, and right now, more than anything, we need community. We need to have a place where we can root together. So I'm going to be in here, I'm determined to be in here a lot more. I'm so happy to answer any questions you have. Also, feel free to message me on private messenger. I love to connect. I love to hear what you're up to. I also have things I can send you, free resources, hints, tips, things like that. If you want a deeper dive, there's different ways you can work with me as well. Everything is available on the website. That's thewellnesstree.uk, or just send me a message. But for today, I want to share with you really about the Wellness Tree and how it's supported me, and even what it is, because so many people, you know, I'm banging on about the Wellness Tree and they're like, what is it? How can I learn it? So if you haven't seen, I've actually got a free mini course introducing you to the Wellness Tree as your own guide. And you can find that in the guide section. If you can't find it, send me a message and I'll send you the link. And what it is, it's a free mini video series. It's on YouTube, it's a playlist, and it's around just over 2 hours long. And what it does, it introduces you to the Wellness Tree, how it supports you in your alcohol or sugar freedom journey with whatever cycles that you're wanting to break, whether it's alcohol, sugar, cigarettes, vaping, shopping, overspending, over-controlling, the thoughts we're thinking, all of these different cycles that we all have. And the most beautiful thing is that the Wellness Tree supports us in all life areas. This is the work that I do with my clients, and it's not really about the alcohol, it's not about the sugar, it's not about the thing that we're using. It's the roots, it's this deeper dive, it's what's going on beneath that. What energies, what beliefs, what things are running the show that just don't serve us anymore. And right now is always the perfect time to change, but right now more than ever, we are being asked, we are being shaken, we are being shouted at to change our ways. Those soul whispers that you might be getting, right? And you're trying really hard to break these patterns and these cycles, and the never-ending day one drinking cycle, or the sugar binging, right? You're trying so hard to break it, and maybe you're getting really frustrated. Like every Monday is a new start, a day one, and it's like, why can't I just get this? And I know, because this was me. I was eating, numbing out on sugar from the age of 5, and that carried on throughout my whole life until I managed to break that pattern a few years ago, and then it was even then still hanging on. And last year was my best year of sugar freedom. and it's not 100% sugar free. I do have an intentional piece of cake now and again. It's just not a thing. It's lost the power, the hold that it had on me. And then wine, I discovered wine about 15 years ago. I never really used to like drinking, but then, you know, you can read my story on the website, thewellnesstree.uk. I think I've also shared it in here before, but I was this person who would want to numb, to squash, to escape, and the present moment just didn't feel safe to me. And that all stems from, you know, childhood traumas, things that, you know, most of us have been through. We've all got different types of traumas. But we don't want to let these things run the show. We don't want to be sick, be ill. We want to make the most out of life. And I was stuck for such a long time in the never-ending day one drinking cycle. And even though in my mind I had committed, I'd like, right, this is it. I'm not drinking anymore. I'm done. I'm sick of this. I'm exhausted of thinking about drinking, not drinking. Like, it was taking up so much headspace. So even though I made up my mind, right, that's it, let's do this, I was feeling very wobbly. And the cravings would come, and it was feeling like I was battling all the time. And then I was eating loads of sugar in replacement of not having had the wine. And I couldn't ever seem to feel free. So I'll tell you the defining moment for me, because it feels like a small moment, but it's not. Looking back, it's the one thing that I remember from the early days, the one golden nugget that I'm going to share with you. I've shared it before, so you might be hearing this again, but sometimes we need to hear things more than once. It could be the right time for you to hear it. But what happened was, it was probably like the millionth time that I'd recommitted to my alcohol freedom journey again. I thought, right, this is it, I'm doing it. And the strategy that I used finally was to do, so I could already do weeks, and I'd done a month without alcohol. And then it was usually in the second month that I'd give up and I think, oh, this just feels so hard. I thought, well, I know I can do a month. And even that took some time to be able to, you know, kind of get the cogs turning. And I thought, right, I need something big. I need a thing to keep me on track. And my husband, who was my boyfriend, had we got married then, I can't remember timings. This was so long ago. I can't remember timings, but I know that before we were married, he was very, very poorly with heart failure. That's another long story. He ended up having a heart transplant. Thank goodness. Absolute miracle. Life-saving heart transplant. So that's another reason for when my drinking was really bad, because my relationship with wine had changed from this feels fun, this feels amazing, to oh my God, what's going to happen to my husband? Is he going to be okay? Like, what's going to happen? It was real, unknown, wobbly, terrifying, absolutely terrifying territory. And so, yes, I thought, okay, well, I really, really need to recommit. I need to do this. I need something big. So I decided to do a sponsored no drinking 3-month challenge for them to raise money for the hospital that looked after my husband. And I did that. I did it. I raised some money, and it felt amazing because there was a really big reason why, and I can't let these people down, you know, I've got to do it, and I did. But what I noticed, let me tell you about this defining moment, because this is real gold. It was a weekend, and I wasn't drinking, I was chugging along, doing my challenge with the seed in my head that I'm actually going to carry on, because I really want to be sober forever kind of thing, but that thought was too scary, so I was breaking it down into baby steps is what I highly recommend you do. And it was a lovely day. It was the weekend. I'd been in the garden and I came back into the kitchen. I think I was just going to make a tea or something. And suddenly from out of nowhere came this thought, was like, oh, I would just love a glass of wine right now. I would love to go and buy a bottle of wine. And it would have been so easy. It would have been so easy. There's a garage just down the road from me, literally 5 minutes down the road. I could have got in the car, bought the wine. In fact, I probably would have bought 2 or 3 bottles just to make sure I had enough and I didn't run out. And it's okay, I'll start Monday. Monday will be a fresh start. I just need to get this out of my system. Yeah? I just need to have this little party for one. I'll just have this and I'll buy some junk. It was all going through my mind. And I stood there in my kitchen and I was almost like a frozen, like, do I? Don't I? I was in this space where I had a choice. Do I do that or do I not? And then suddenly this new thought popped into my head. And it was like, well, Cath, you could go and buy that wine if you wanted to, but that's what you always do. And I suddenly realised, yes, of course, that's what I always do. That's the pattern and the cycle that for me I'm always in. I do really, really great, and then as soon as a craving, you know, I feel I have this FOMO, I'm missing out on something, I'm missing out on the buzz, the high, the fun of having some wine. It's like, yeah, that's what you always do, Cath. And then I thought, well, if I do really want to carry on, to be alcohol free, to find my freedom, I've got to keep going. There's no choice. I have to break that cycle right now in this minute. Here's an opportunity. Here is an opportunity for me to rewire. And I hadn't noticed this before, which seems silly, but I was so ingrained in that pattern of self-sabotage, I could actually take a step back or a bird's eye view on myself and recognise that's what I always do. The only way to break it is to keep going. And then I got really curious and I thought I could feel the energy shifting within, the curiosity of, well, I could keep going. And almost that feels quite exciting because I don't know the version of me that just keeps going, that really pushes myself to feel that discomfort. And it felt really uncomfortable. It's like, oh, Iris, I don't like this. This feels really wobbly. This feels like, oh my God, I've got nothing. I have got no wine. Well, I've got my sugar I could have, and that's probably what I had. I can't remember. But in that moment, I broke it. And then I had another nugget, a huge golden moment, because I realised, okay, if I'm going to keep going, this means I can tell, I can feel that I have to learn to think and be in a completely different way. I have to be the version of myself that just does this, that just lives this way now, where I don't drink. And later on in my journey, I don't numb out on sugar or anything like that. But that was much later on, and I used the same process with that, although it's not as simple as that. It's not. There's many, many different pieces. And then in that moment, I thought to myself, well, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how, but all I know is I have to keep going. I have to work with my mind, and I have to teach myself that this is the way that we do this. And so I really made a much deeper commitment to myself. Knowing that I didn't know how, and that's okay. We're not meant to know. We're not meant to know the unknown, right? But I was determined to do the work, to do the inner work, and to really start to study the version of me. Like, how do I do it? And so that's when I really learnt to start doing the inner work. And our inner work is never done. We're always growing, we're always expanding and changing and growing and up-leveling. And it does feel amazing when you start to push yourself, and maybe you've had some experience of this and you've had some feedback and you've had some wins, some amazing wins where you have pushed yourself, where you have sat through discomfort, you've felt every ounce of your being, it's like screaming that this feels uncomfortable, but you have stretched to your edge. Yeah, you're expanding your capacity of how much discomfort can I make myself sit with, and definitely get support in place if you need to. If you need any counselling, therapy, because there's traumas and things like that, definitely. But a lot of this work we can do with our journals, which is just what I did, and also learning from there's all kinds of resources. There's so much free stuff on the internet now. We can literally Google things. We have things at our fingertips. But this is the other problem. There is so much information. There is so much available to us now that we're literally bombarded. And so I was a bit lost. In fact, I was feeling very lost. I felt like I'd come back down to earth with all my baggages, my bags, my stuff. Like, what happens now? And also, this was a wake-up call moment, because my husband and I, 2 weeks before, had got married, and he'd said to me that I really needed to do something about my drinking. He didn't tell me to stop drinking, he just said, you need to get it sorted. But I tried that. I tried moderating. It just didn't work for me. It was too much hard work, and I was done with the whole thing. So I was handing all of this, here, God, universe, source energy, whatever, take it. I'm done with it. I'm done. And when I made that decision, I felt so much lighter. Freedom really is a decision away. It starts with a decision. But then we have to actually do the energetic inner work to really alchemize all of these things. All of the healing needs to happen. And it needs patience, it needs time, it needs dedication, real commitment, real consistency, and knowing when to rest and nurture, and then when to push ourselves. And this is just all the work that I do with the ladies in the Soul Wealth Academy. By the way, if you want to have a deeper dive with me, if you would love to just work in a group with other like-minded souls on this, in a really fun way, just really learning how to do this stuff, learning more about the wellness tree, pop me a private message and ask me for the details on Soul Wealth Academy. But in this moment, in this kitchen moment where I was standing thinking, right, I need to just be this completely different person, I need to learn how to think differently, the wellness tree started to drip through to me. It was a seed, and my tree has grown along with me. And the wellness tree has given me so much. We all have an inner wellness tree within that we can connect to. And the wellness tree is a beautiful, it's a template which you can make your own, because every nervous system and every soul is different and unique. But we all need, and our nervous system needs structure, it needs support, it has to be the right approach, it has to feel good for you. it needs anchoring, it needs to be able to find that stability so that we can feel in balance and we can feel in flow, and we can learn to recognize when we're starting to drift, when we're starting to take our eye off the ball, like when we're feeling really tired and exhausted and this just feels hard, this feels boring, and then you start getting all of that mental chatter, all of the voices come in, the saboteur comes in, and then you have made a choice and you're like, oh, why did I do that? It can spiral into the day one cycle again, and then we can stay there, beat ourselves up, and it almost takes all of our energy, like a Herculean move, to just like, gather strength, get our mindsets right, and get back on track again. I had so many millions of day ones. I really understand what it's like. But what the wellness tree does is it helps you to break the stop-start cycle of day ones, and it helps you to create a solid foundation so you can really learn the root structure that's going to keep you grounded and anchored and supported, which is so important. It's so important that we have this foundation, this basis, so that we can then create safety. We need to create safety within the body, safety within our environment, so that externally and internally we feel this safety. We're not going to be able to tap into creativity or creating positive change and like up-leveling our lifestyle if we don't have these basic safety things in place first. Now in Soul Wealth Academy, there's a whole treasure chest of resources specifically for grey area drinkers to support them to really stabilize their nervous system, to create this safety within. And this is what we're doing. This is real root 3 stuff. Root 3 is like the main anchoring taproot that plunges down into the earth. And you can really use these things to help you to feel anchored into your day. And this is where we are learning about what habits we need to do, what rituals, what routines, and most importantly, it needs to be simple and it needs to be easy to implement, because let's face it, we have commitments, we have home lives, we may have businesses, work, many different hats to wear. So we want things at our fingertips that we can just pluck. And the biggest tool that we have all of the time is our breath. Honestly, it's my most favourite thing that I use all of the time, just to bring myself back to myself. I'm just doing a quick time check. Yeah, we're okay. Because we often get distracted, we're giving all day, we're very often depleted. And this is why it's easy to reach for things to settle and soothe, because that's what our bodies are trying to do. That's why we reach for the food or the drink, because we're trying to ground. But what we need to do is teach ourselves how to ground in healthy ways. So this is what the roots really do. But not only that, the roots are first of all helping you to understand why you're making or wanting to make these positive changes, why it's important to you, what things are important to you, how you want your life to be different. How would you love the rest of this year to be? Some people really struggle with the vision part. And I know I did. I stopped drinking. I was like, well, I don't know what hobbies I have. I didn't have this level of safety within where I could even think about that. And I had to spend a long time. It can take a while to really work with the nervous system, to work with these tools, and then get to a place where we can then create our new lifestyle. But what I could do is tap into the feeling of what I wanted to create. And this is the work that we're currently doing in Soul Wealth Academy. So if you're curious and you want to learn more, pop me a private message. But really, it's tapping into the feeling. You know, how do you want to be feeling? And then how can I start doing that now? How can I get in touch with that now while creating safety within? While teaching my body that it's safe, it's okay now. You know, we're in a different place, and it's learning to trust ourselves, learning to trust the process. So I really learned this with the wellness tree, and how I then had to build the discipline of feeling the discomfort and stretching into the unknown, with letting go, with dropping control, with that kind of surrender to, okay, I know I can do this and I don't know how it's going to work out, but I trust that I am supported. And this comes from support with community, with accountability, doing it together. This is where having a group is so important and so needed. We need connection. We need it. And also having a spiritual practice of some sort with whatever you believe in, whether that's God, nature, divine source energy, your own kind of energy, love, whatever it is you believe in. For me, I have such a deep, deep connection with nature, and I'm really blessed. I live surrounded by woods and fields, and I just love to go outside to connect, and I just literally feel grounded and supported, and yeah, I just love that connection. But that is something that's, you know, it has to be worked on. We have to give ourselves the time. And this is the other thing, is knowing what our commitments are in our lives, the things that we have to show up for, you know, in our home, running our business, the things we're committed to. And also balancing it with our passions and our desires and what we want to be doing, the things that are really fueling our soul and nourishing us. And what most people want right now, they want more time, they want more energy, they want soul freedom, they want more money, they want money to be able to take the time off, to be able to invest in the things that are really going to support their health, their well-being, their passions, maybe reconnecting more with loved ones, taking time off, taking time out to enjoy, to be. And so it's really about designing a lifestyle that supports that. And this is a journey, and it's taken me 15 years ago when I met my now husband. I left very controlling environment, and I kind of broke free, and I think that's where I found wine as well. Well, I know it is. It was like, yay, I'm free. I've got all this, you know, I've got my husband's lovely home, I've got this lovely countryside, there's things I can do. I felt so free. And then that's where I got into that drinking cycle. It then became that habit, and that's how it started. And then the relationship changed when my husband became poorly. The relationship with wine changed. But it was an opportunity. It was a wonderful gift for me to, it cracked me open, literally. And then I started my sugar freedom journey years later. And there's so much I could talk about, but I don't want to make this too long. But really, I'm coming in today to just show you all, wherever you are, it is possible. It is totally possible for you to get to where you want to go. But the main things, the things that you really do need are community. You need a plan. You need structure. You need the commitment. You need to know why you're doing this. You need to know what's driving you. You also really need, there need to be big reasons why. Big reasons why. You also want to bring in the fun and the play and the adventure. That is a big thing that I'm working with at the moment, is micro adventures. And how can I bring more adventure, more excitement into day-to-day life? And day-to-day life can feel mundane. It's like we're working, and I'm also running a cleaning business alongside this business. I'm running my home. I don't have children, but I do have a very, very lively 2-year-old Labrador. And so, it is juggling a lot of things. And I'm really working with consistency this year and adventure, and consistency on really keeping going the things that are important to me. And this is one of the things that's really important to me, is my community, connecting, really helping to up-level everything, really, to show people that they can do things, they can do hard things. There's literally nothing stopping us. And yes, today is about regrouping here, reconnecting, all of us individually reconnecting to ourselves and to each other. I really want to get this group buzzing and going again. It's a safe place. It's totally private. Please post. Please share your wins, share your successes, share your struggles, share what you're working on. If you're stuck, ask a question, ask others, share. It's so important, because it can feel like such a lonely journey, but it doesn't need to be. The power of people coming together and working on this thing together is immense, And we're also rerouting as a group. So we are working with our wellness tree. And I've got this card in front of me that I just want to show you, which is, so this is it may well be back to front in the camera. This is the ancient oak spirit, which signifies strength. And this card comes from the Sacred Forest Oracle deck by Denise Lynn. And I absolutely love this deck. But this, to me, feels like my wellness tree. This really strong oak, strong, steady oak. And there's a little door. Imagine going through that door. Just imagine opening that door and seeing this lovely warm glow, and it's cozy, it's nurturing. This is what we do in Soul Wealth Academy. We're literally opening that door. We're tiptoeing down. We're knowing, actually, it's not that scary. Actually, there's loads of treasure down here, because this is where we get to meet our roots. This is where we learn, these are the steps I can take to get me to where I want to go. And where we want to go is to create the inner resilience, the inner strength, so that we can navigate through life's challenges and life's storms, right? But we can also grow our branches, our different life areas, which is what I love to work with. We can have our healthy ways of eating. We can really connect with our emotions and feel them and let them pass on through and heal them. We can have some amazing things that we love to do to really connect with ourselves and find our passions. And we can really give to ourselves in this way so that we're not feeling depleted. We're not feeling resentful, because we're carving out the time, we're making the time, and we make the time because we let all the stuff go that doesn't need to be there. This is literally what I help with. So we're then creating space, and we need space. We need space to be, to feel, to create steadiness, to absorb things, to sit with things and to let them process. We need this time, it's so important. And then we can really intentionally choose what we want to bring in. And these are the things that are really important to us. So we're connecting with our roots again. Why? Root one is why. Why is this important? What are my values, my core values? What is in my heart that is so important? Is it my family, my husband, my wife, my loved one, my dog, my home, travel, simplicity, nature, my friends, just being, just slow living? For me, it really is slow, simple living. And this has been the backbone of my sobriety journey. This has been the backbone of soul freedom, of how I have been able to create it and how I am still creating it. I'm still on this journey. We're never done. But it's slow, steady and simple. And we can create this across all life areas, because this is how we need to stay grounded. We bring this into all life areas. So there's so much more that I could talk about, but I won't. But really, the kitchen moment is gold. Learning to think and be in a completely different way, to stop the sabotage, to stop that day one drinking cycle. You can have your free introductory guide. You can work with that. You can absolutely create a plan from that. And if you want deeper support, then connect with me. Ask me about Soul Wealth Academy and I'll send you the details. Soul Wealth Academy is really transformational. It's a 6-month adventure where we go through the tree. It's a real teaching, learning and understanding thing that you can integrate. It's really nicely paced. It fits around, everything's recorded. It fits around your lifestyle. But the ladies in there are they're having some amazing wins, amazing ahas. They're working at different paces. Some are already sober, some are kind of almost there, some are just still drinking, but they're just like laying these important foundations. And there's no rush. It's so important that we ensure safety within the body, and then, we can learn to let these things go. So important that we get those foundations in place. Okay, so I'm going to be popping back in here again soon, but meanwhile, please post, please share. Let's get this group back on track. I love each and every one of you. I so appreciate you being here. But also, if this doesn't resonate, if the group's not feeling like it's good for you, we do need to remember keeping the energy good. So if it's just not vibing, please go with love. Thank you for being here. I hope you got what you needed. And for everyone else, I'm so looking forward to bringing you on the next leg of the journey. I also trained last year as a soul energetics practitioner. So the Wellness Tree now has soul energetics in there. And I'm also just about to start another exciting training, which I can't share about yet, but it's just going to be amazing. So the Wellness Tree, as I said, it grows with us, and yours will look different to mine. It's very exciting. So yeah, I'm going to wrap up now, stop waffling. Have an amazing day, an amazing evening, wherever you are in the world. Lots and lots of love. Thank you for watching.